Shalom, Israel, shalom. Real quick video. I'm gonna get some usual scriptures, but I'm gonna play this a little bit, you know. And title here is Preparing for War Against China, Russia, and North Korea. 60 Minutes, Australia. Man, those are some heavy names right there, man. Um, and big armies right there. And all of these countries been posing a threat against America and talking much, you know, great words against America. America, we told you, was what is bound to happen, and it's inevitable, and it's not only this among men that these things are possible. It's the Most High doing this, and we told you that before. It's concerning prophecy. Um, and I think what's it is some news reporter, some top guy talking about the World War III is not near, but you don't want to nobody they don't want to get the people roused up because people will start going crazy. But they do want that, but they want to orchestrate it in their way to bring out the new world order. So anything out of the guidelines of the new world order, they're gonna like, yeah, we like the ideal, of chaos, but we don't. We want to do it our way. So they'll they'll talk about negotiations. They'll talk peace talks, whatever, and put that in public. But hey, if China, Russia, North Korea poses a threat, and they're talking, about big war, World War III, then that's more believable than what America displays in the media. You know, because we know America is a big bubble of lie and confusion. Um, so with that, giving all praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash, Barak Thahel, Barak Thahel Shai, double honors to the apostles, elders, bishops, a great millstone, my salutations to the brothers teaching the word for the hopeful elect. And these things, behind closed doors, behind the curtains, these things have been building up with these countries for a long time. I mean, and um, I'll get that scripture, but it's been, unjust dealings, unlawful dealings, according to negotiation and things that they have said at the table that was supposed to come to surface, or but never reached. But anyway, let me get this real quick.
The freedom of the seas is under threat.
A show of force in the Pacific.
Launch an aircraft, shoot them.
Unlike the world has ever seen. Is as frightening as...
Unlike the world has ever seen. There's a scripture talk about Jacob's trouble and the things that come with it. And this is the part of the unfolding of it. Let me get that scripture. Time of Jacob's trouble, King James Version. Jeremiah 30:6, it says, Alas, for it is a day well, let me start at 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doeth travail with child. And of course, men can't have children. But what it say, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness? Like, oh shit, it's going down. Because a man's loins is supposed to be. It even says, gird up your gird up your loins. Basically, in old form of testifying used to be men testifying, because that comes from the word testicles, testifying. So we would, back then, when we testify, we put our hands on our loins, and testimony is a great great words of something that's been witnessed. I mean, I'll just put it that way. Hopefully, it's edifying, man. It says paleness is, faint, like death almost, closely passing away. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And they even said it here that this is going to be none like it. Even in the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who is Jacob's so-called Black, Latino, Native Americans? Who is the elect? Because all the children of Israel is going to come out of the loins of the elect, and the 1/3 when we established when Most High gives us the kingdom, because the kingdom is not here, man. It can't be. It's not in America. It's not nowhere until the Most High establish it, and it's going to be on earth as well as the heavens. Because we're going to rule the heavens and earth. Most High is going to give us access to galaxies and mansions in galaxies, and it's going to be unbelievable. How you say it, you can't explain it in words. Put it in words, and Paul expressed that anyway. I won't play this long. See.
It is exhilarating, but will China get the message?
Doesn't really matter in the real world situation.
That's next on 60 Minutes. Showing off might not be a conventional military tactic, but it is very useful. And it's exactly what the Defence Forces of the United States and 28 of its allies, including Australia, are currently doing on and around the Hawaiian Islands. RIMPAC 2024, as it's called, is an extraordinary spectacular of the world's most lethal weaponry. And let me tell you, for the uninitiated, it's loud, menacing, and quite overwhelming. For this military coalition, it's also intended to send a clear message to its would-be adversaries.
Also, too, America pumps themselves, and they encourage themselves even through these movies. They can make a movie with, roaring with Russia and beat Russia's ass, and and they can be confident in that fantasy, and they've always had somewhat pride, especially when they came over here and took over the Gadites, but that's going into something else. But yeah, it talks about war. It talks about in Revelation, one woe is past, two woes more come. World War I, World War II, World War III. Prepare war, King James Version. We know this scripture. I mean, these scriptures still talk today. This is, yeah. Well, let me read it quick right here. Another scripture, Matthew 24:6, in a new Living Translation. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. So we've been hearing rumors of war, and they actually say rumors of wars and rumors of wars for a while, for a long time. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And like I said, somebody said, well, yeah, that's the way things go. Some things get worse before it get better, but then it gets better. Or some things are just like, these things have happened before. It's nothing new, you know what I'm saying? And which the case is, because it says that in Ecclesiastes, nothing new is under the sun. Is anything that it should be said that is new? It is old from the, paraphrasing from it has already been. That's true, but the difference is the Most High got this unicorn to where everybody is seeing these things. Like a lot of things used to be hidden from the public regarding this TV and the way that they narrate what's on TV. But now people are having their own. They can look into their own information. You know, they got um, they do their own research, and you know, put up their own platforms and all that through this media. So you know that's what makes it different. You can see what's going on around the world. You know, opposed to you not really having access to that and know what's fully going on in other countries, other states, even here in America. So there is a difference. You know, we are living in different times, and which we know about as the end times. On the side of on the side, these posted videos. One is why China and the U.S. are so obsessed with Taiwan. China rams Philippine ship while 60 minutes on board. What if nuclear weapon hits New York tomorrow? NATO's plan to deploy 800,000 troops against Russia. So it's a lot of things going on. I mean, I don't know why do you think there's a defense bubble around America, like America can't be touched, you know? But America, if they don't know, is Babylon, who out there to be destroyed, which it says in the scriptures. It's the harlot that rides on the beast. You know, it's great confusion here, and all this, you know, blame your leaders pretty much, your presidents and the people, you know, the big people behind it, to her to be targeted for destruction because, you know, everything in America is against the Most High. You know, all the laws and the unlawful things that they do according to the scriptures is it's all against America. The education, the churches, you know, is against America. I mean, is against the Most High. And it says, prepare war. Did I get that one? Prepare war, King James Version. Joel 3:9, it says, proclaim ye among the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. You know. Proclaim, prepare war. Let me get that scripture. Garments rolled in blood, King James Version.
According to Bible.com, and he was clothed with a vest.
Garments rolled in blood. This is, man. I think it says a little bit something. Isaiah 9:5, for every battle of the warriors with confused noise, the old way, shields, buckler, helmets, armor, and all that. Physical armor with shields and buckler, arrow, cannons, however, you know, that old way of fighting. Not so much cannons, swords, shields, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Man, that's nuclear war. How it says that on the side, it says, well, if a nuclear weapon hits New York tomorrow, and they can target any place, you know. They don't have to be New York. They could target any place. They did Pearl Harbor. I mean, that's what happened during the days of Pearl Harbor, out of nowhere. Now and then, you know, they went into World War II. So even if they staging things, they can stage things to go into war. It's inevitable. That's why it says these things must come to pass. That's why we said that. That's why we say that this must be, and it must be. It's a time of war. It's a time of war, King James Version. A guy walked up to the camp and he said, yeah, man, we should be all at peace. Yeah, we should. It should be all peaceful, man. You know, Nobody should have to leave the earth because of war. But it's not peaceful. And there are problems. And problems haven't been solved. And there are people trying to, shoot to be the superpower of the world. That's not going to be in our kingdom because they're going to understand that it ain't. They're going to beat their. It says they're going to beat their weapons into plowshares, man, in the kingdom. So they ain't going to rise again. They're not going to be talking about war. It says, they should learn war no more. So yeah, it's not going to be war in the kingdom because it's going to be one people ruling, and it's going to be understood. This kingdom, they're still wanting to be the next superpower. And these BRICS are already forming to become that superpower. Russia's ahead, but China, they want their piece of the pie to be an independent source of a superpower, so to speak. So let's have, Russia, you could be a superpower. We're gonna be a superpower with you. North Korea and climbing up or whatever. And they want U.S. out of the picture. And they want to rule the Eastern world. They say, well, fuck America. Hey, fuck that being paradise. We could just be the superpower over here, join, make a BRIC nation and rule over here. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, that's what it seemed like they would think if they're trying to threaten and destroy America. You have to have a plan somewhat as such to, remain the superpower with the rest of the Eastern world countries. Because, going back to that song, Tears for Fears, everybody wants to rule the world. It says, there's a time for everything under the sun. To everything there's a season and time to every purpose under the heaven. And I'm going to go to the point of the scripture I'm talking about. Time to love, and a time to hate, and a time of war, and a time of peace. And these other nations, it's easy to tick them off, especially if they're tired of being deceived. And I'm not saying that they don't have that, they don't have a method of deceiving, but I'm saying, America is that type. She's the harlot. She tricks people into getting more money and getting, as she, so to speak, still colonizes through democracy and other means of, even through Christianity, and they don't do that really no more. I mean, if you really want to look at it, you'd be like, well, why is America so hostile during a time of war? Or, even some of these talks at the table before war happens, and to where they would go into war quickly as a lot of these other nations, countries, and they're a Christian-based country. Don't they turn the cheek? Do they invade countries for oil and other resources? Sanction, well, no, not sanction, but sanctions on countries, invading countries to control countries, and giving them an ultimatum to, like, well, if you don't leave, we'll destroy you. And if your children are there, they're gonna have to, feel the wrath of America too. I mean, you see what they did to Japan. Agent Orange is, I'm not sorrowing for the Japanese. They got reparations, of course, but that Agent Orange and that radio, those radio, no, what do you call it? Look up Agent Orange and look up what's that other one? I forget. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But from the bombing, the kids were coming out deformed. I'm thinking I'm not sure. I think it still has an effect today. But those are horrifying methods. Of course, not exceeding slavery and what they did to the Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, of course. But those are the things that these countries remember. Those are the events that these countries remember, even though they did get reparations. And I don't know if it was on a fixed income basis, pretty sure, like they do everybody else, but they still remember it. And so as well as these other countries, when they, stand aside and watch it go down, he's like, damn, people are ruthless. I mean, but that's the so-called white man. That's the murdering. That's Cain. That's what a perfect example is just how he did the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, the children of Israel, murder. Not caring for the young or the old. Throwing babies against the wall. Against the concrete, stumping babies with their spiked boots, making children pick cotton out there in the hot sun, and a lot of them died, dehydrated and overworked. So this is kind of people that they understand that they're dealing with. I mean, Russia is Edomites too, but a lot of our people over there too. We have a good, decent percentage of our people over there. So, and they probably have a good place and seat in their office ranks, and so forth, and even in Ukraine, even in those other countries. So, Hitler said, well, you got the Jews. If America know what they had in their hands, the Jews, which is true, which he was talking about the Negroes and the rest of the tribes here too. But we're in the hands of all these nations, because these nations were a confederacy regarding Psalms 83 on down. They are and still a confederacy today. I mean, they're shooting for superpower. Nobody's giving power to so-called black man, so-called Latino man, Native Americans, to be even aboard on ship, to be possibly, a superpower, or even a power at all. But we're not supposed to have carnal power. That's why the Most High has us sit back and watching and being watchmen and being prophets about these things that's going on and about to happen, especially with America. So we weren't made to fight war and, even joining their army, because you don't know what America is talking about. When they go over there and talk to these nations, they don't have Jake sitting at the table. And if anything, they have these Africans sitting at the table. And of course, America, she's shiesty with everybody. But I'm just saying, we have no seat of power. We're only given bootleg, hand-me-down shepherds. That kind of fade is in the wind, like Jesse Jackass and Al Sharpton, Before them, it was Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Uh, so, that's what's going on. It's inevitable, you know. Um, and there are new strategies every day how to, come up with better technology to be a superpower, to, to flex our muscles. I mean, that's what they're doing here. It says sending a message. They're flexing their muscles, their military might. And they're not really showing you, the great power that a lot of their greatest powers that they have, as far as lasers and, you know, uh, they had one. I'm gonna close out. They had suits that they put on that make you look invisible. I think China had that. I don't know if they're the first ones to produce that kind of material, but they have shown it. I think it was in China when I saw it, but you know, they put on suits and they could look invisible. You know, these are tactics of war. You know, whether it be ground war or war in the sky. You know, the Bible calls him the prince of the power of the air. Let me get that scripture. Prince of the power of the air, King James Version. It says, Ephesians 2:24, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. See, and that's one thing you got to realize. This so-called white man has no, well, Most High has him in the, according to his bounds. But as far as what he's supposed to do and his role in Most High's movie, he has no bounds. Like, I mean, he's not committed to anything lawful when it comes to the scriptures. He's not supposed to. He's the wicked. So, all that church and that Christian stuff don't matter to him. All that, Good Samaritan stuff, that don't matter to him. His children are fooled by trying to be good Christians, but they can't even keep that. They can't go by those guidelines to what they think a Christian should be, because they'll call you nigger, they'll call you with the ER, they'll call you, you got the Karens in out there, you got the racism high, and some other states more than others, but it's still there, and because they're not really true Christians, which is go back to the anointed ones, Mashiachim, which is from from saints, and it got to do with the Israelites. Got to do with the Israelites. So, they're gonna start waking up. Most High gonna stare in their spirit like, "Why am I trying to be a Christian?" And the economy's fucked up, and a lot of them are suffering now and becoming, they're getting they're affected by these things going on, to where they're not supported by their parents anymore. The children are homeless. Even the parents are having trouble divorcing the house. The Most High is putting the curses back on them. So they're like, what's the use? Come on, man. People, the average average white, so-called white American family, they're not really church goers, man. Especially the children. So, what you have is a world crumbling over here in America. A new world order, is in their minds, but the current world into the new world order is crumbling. So what are they trying to build a bridge, you know, some psychological, philosophical bridge of ideas and wonderment to kind of create some false narrative with AI and, you know, Elon Musk to reach that new world order. But Most High said he was going to interrupt that too. He's going to disappoint the enterprise, man. Anyway, hope it was edifying. Until next video. Shalom.